Okay, in this video, guys, I want to show you some alternatives to selling on eBay, just in case you have any issues with eBay ever. Now, usually this doesn't happen, but occasionally someone could have a problem with their eBay account if they made a mistake and they did some foolish things or something like that, and eBay banned them. Okay, it's not the end of the world. There are plenty of other ways that you can sell phones. I choose personally eBay because it's super fast. The items sell very quickly. They have massive amounts of traffic, and I can sell any kind of stuff that I want, basically. However, it doesn't mean you can't make money if you can't go on eBay. The other problem that sometimes we have with eBay is for people that just start doing this. eBay, when you create a brand new account, will put seller limits on your account sometimes. So what that means is, like, they'll limit how much you can sell. They might limit you to only $1,000 worth of items your first month because they want to make sure you're a legitimate business. Now, these limits don't usually last that long, usually about 60 to 90 days. But if you want to really get a jump start going while you're waiting for eBay to remove those limits, like, you got to warm up your account a little bit. So while you're waiting for that, I'm going to give you some other platforms that you can go ahead and sell phones on, so that way you can still get a super fast start while not having to wait for eBay to reduce your limits. Once the limits are removed, then you can go full blast and sell on eBay, because I do recommend it. But these other sites still work great. We have other students doing very well on some of these other platforms, so I'll show you how to do it, okay? I'm also going to explain to you about selling a phone locally and the advantages of it and disadvantages, and also finding what's called a wholesaler. So you're going to get a lot of information in this as far as selling your items. Okay, so first of all, other than eBay, you have a couple sites. One of the best ones that I think, other than eBay, for phones and electronics is a site called swappa.com. This is probably the most popular site that's closest to eBay for selling phones and electronics that you're going to find on the internet. Cool thing about swappa.com is I believe the buyer actually pays the fees on this. Now, I don't personally sell on Swappa. We actually have one of my course members sell over $10,000 a month on Swappa, selling phones and electronics, because he got banned from eBay. So this is a great place that you can sell. A couple things about Swappa. One is they only allow good condition items. So if it's cracked or bad ESN, you can't sell it on Swappa's main site, but they've got this thing called the Boneyard, which, if you just go down here to the Broken Boneyard, you can list all your bad ESNs here, cracked devices, and still make decent money. Now, the sales are a little bit slower on Swappa than eBay, but I like it because the fees are less. Oops, I lost Swappa here. And it's still successful. Will you make more money on eBay? Probably, and it'll be a little bit faster, but it's definitely better than not selling any phones at all, and it's still pretty good. I'd say it's probably 75 to 80% as good as eBay. So certainly, you still make plenty of money on Swappa. Another one that just came out that's a new platform that people are starting to sell on is this one called Mercari. And I personally haven't experimented with it yet, but I just had a student the other day that sold on it. Items sold super fast within a day, and I think this is eBay's up-and-coming competition. So also you can try this site as well. I don't know a whole bunch about it, but I know my students are having success selling on this, and this is great. So Swappa and Mercari are probably the best online sites to sell your stuff other than eBay. Now, again, if you don't have any eBay limits and you're not banned from eBay, I would just go all in on eBay. Really, there's not really a reason to switch to these. eBay still is number one, but these guys are a close second, and they're still pretty decent. Now, let's talk about selling locally. Okay, first things, a couple about selling locally. One, yes, you won't have to pay eBay fees, and you can get cash. That's the nice thing about it. Here's the bad side about selling locally. One thing I don't like about selling locally is, one, you're doing twice the work if you sell locally. Now, sometimes if you want to make a little more money, you can make more money selling locally than on eBay, but you're going to have to do double the work, because not only do you have to buy the phone at a price you can make a profit at, but you've got to sell the phone too. So you're doing, instead, like, if we just buy with our method and sell on eBay, we don't really have to do a lot of work on eBay. eBay listing takes us 3, 4, 5 minutes, and then we sell it and ship it. It's done. But we just go buy the phone. But when we're selling locally, we've got to buy it, and then we got to take all these calls. Hey, I'm calling about your iPhone 7 that you're selling. And then they're going to try to lowball you and negotiate. So there's a lot more work involved to resell that item locally. I don't like that, because I want something that's going to automate my life. Now, if you're really struggling financially and you want to squeeze every little penny out of everything you can, and you have tons of time on your hand, this may be a good strategy. Or if you got banned from eBay, or you're waiting for your eBay limits and you just want to flip some stuff right now, then Craigslist or Facebook are a good place to sell your stuff locally. Facebook groups, there's a lot of buy, sell, trade groups, so you can use something like this. Like, there's a laptop right here somebody's selling. I don't know what these are, old radio tubes. All you do is just post your item there with the price, and then people start calling on it. Facebook groups are probably better to get more money than Craigslist. Craigslist, you're going to get a ton of people lowballing you, but you're probably going to get more inquiries. Either one, I would experiment with both if you're going to sell locally. Just selling locally, be very careful. Only meet someone in a public place when you're selling. There's a lot more problems happening when you sell locally than when you buy. For some reason, when you're buying phones locally, there's never usually any issues as long as you meet like in a parking lot, public place. We don't really have a lot of problems with that. But when you're trying to sell something locally, for some reason, they know you're going to have a valuable item with you. And there's a lot of scams where they'll set you up to rob the phone. So just be really careful about that. If you're going to sell something locally, make sure you're meeting like in the restaurant. Like go inside the McDonald's and sell it, because usually something bad is not going to happen right there in the middle of a restaurant. So be careful of that. Anyways, that's a good size and the bad size of selling locally. Now, there's one more thing called a wholesaler. Now, a wholesaler is someone that will buy your phone without, like, right through PayPal, and you kind of build a relationship with them. So they know that you're getting phones regularly, and they're going to say, well, I'll pay you so you don't have to pay the eBay fees, but I'll pay you the same price on eBay. So you end up making more. Wholesalers tend to buy more of the newer phones or new in-box type phones. They usually don't buy like the crack stuff. But how do you find a wholesaler? Well, you'll find someone that will message you on eBay saying, hey, I'll pay you direct through PayPal. Now, a lot of people think that's a scam, but a lot of those are really legitimate. And I've had a lot of people where they'll buy, $5,000 of phones from me a month, and that saves me 10% in eBay fees, $500 a month, because I just pick up all those phones, pack them up in a box, and ship them to that one person. They send me the PayPal payment, and I save myself a lot of headache listing and sell it to direct. Now, it's not always easy to get a wholesaler. They usually will come to you. Once you start selling a lot of phones, you'll get messages on eBay. That's usually how you connect with them. Or someone will find out that you're buying phones, and they'll say, hey, I pay high prices, and I'll buy your inventory at like eBay prices from you. So you got to network a little bit, or wait for them to come to you in order to find one of these people. But when you do, it is worth messaging them back. So if you get like a message on eBay saying, hey, I bought your brand new iPhone 7. If you ever want in the future, I'll buy these from you regularly, and we can skip eBay. You can also do that. Okay. Just don't try not to negotiate that too much through eBay messages, because eBay frowns upon that a lot, and you get in trouble with eBay. So maybe send them an email so you guys can contact that way, or a phone number, something like that. Okay. But these are some alternative ways that you can sell if you ever have any trouble on eBay, or if you want to just diversify a little bit and experiment. These are some other ways that you guys can go ahead and sell your phones and electronics that you're buying.